We only use 10% of our brain. While this statement sounds outlandish at first, for many years, experts, scientists, and academics believed it. Even today, there is a vast majority of people that see some truth in this belief. The 10% argument is now largely considered to be a myth, but the likely origin of this myth lies in the works of the father of the American psychology, William James, and his colleague, Boris Sidis. Both scientists presented the reserve energy theories, which led to the idea of humans using only 10% of their brain's capacity. One of the statements from James is likely a large propagator of this theory. James says, "Most of us do not meet our mental potential," and there is something to this statement. It does not imply that only 10% of the human brain is functional and the rest sits idle. This statement is not related to the psychological function of our brain, rather the optimization and utilization of our mind. Even when resting, all our brain carries on its functions, just like our whole body. Yet some people have proportionately higher physical capacities than others. All of us arrive in this world with certain genetic dispositions. Some are skinny growing up, while others are chubby and overweight. But while a lot of us carry forward with those dispositions, many among us change our physical self through discipline, diet, and exercise, stretching themselves as much as they could psychologically. Just as we can push the limits of our physical self through methods and training, the mind's limits could also be pushed to its maximum capacity by applying various methods and creating mind maps. To understand our minds, and as a result, the limitations we put on them, we need to look deep and understand what we are made of and what drives our spirit. The ancient philosophy of Hermeticism states that we are given two gifts of speech and mind. Speech is what we interpret and assume of this world, and the mind is the container for these thoughts and interpretations. The way we use these gifts is that we express our thoughts through the five sensory, or speech, and we experience and reveal through the gift of our mind. This philosophy was internalized and wisely turned into a book by the early 20th century author Charles Haanel, and his book demonstrating this philosophy is titled The Master Key System. This book, published in 1916, is based on the correspondence course of Haanel by the same name, and it has formed the basis of many self-help books that followed it. The Master Key demonstrates a system in which a person can expand their mind to infinite limits, always pushing for more, and as a result, connecting more the universal truth surrounding us. Among many other principles, one of the most important principles to achieve it is through creative visualization. There are two parts to the human being, the I and the mind. The I being the hermetic speech, through which we observe the world, and the mind being the instrument to understand and experience it. The I is what controls both the body and the mind. How we do things, how we react to situations, how we choose to experience life is determined through I. This is what constitutes our spirit, and the idea is to find control over it. And the pathway to finding control over the I is to evaluate and accept our true nature. It means to understand each facet and side of your personality, accepting and understanding both the optimist and the pessimist side of yours, and realizing that both these sides serve their purpose. It is not one over the other. Only then will we be able to gain mental strength. It is important here to know the difference between mental strength and mental strain. Engulfing your mind with overload of sensory experience is not gaining strength. Applying unnecessary force on your mind through troubling thoughts is straining your mind. But inducing your vision and goals in your mind and repeating them over and over again gives your mental strength to go after them. It is no different than straining your body. Correct exercise with the right form, done optimal times every week to strengthen your body and health, but incorrect form and lifting unnecessary weight will injure you. Just as in the gym, a person works out as per their fitness goals. The mental strength or the mind power is gained through focusing your mental exercise routine. We need to correctly use the gift of speech and mind to reveal what we hold within ourselves. Just like our physical muscles hold unused potential, our brain has an even larger depository visualization potential in our subconscious mind. The goal is to connect the subconscious mind to the larger, universal mind. You are not the drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. This quote by the Sufi philosopher Rumi metaphysically explains the concept of our subconscious mind connected to the universe. Whatever exists in the universe, we are a part of it, and it is a part of ourselves. The goal is to unlock it by following the maps to our subconscious and using the tools to strengthen our vision. Just like diet is the key factor for physical growth, mental diet, which is the speech we feed to our mind, is the key to our mental strength, and altering our diets is just as important. For example, if a person is interested in learning music, the first time reading a music sheet and understanding it is impossible. But the key is to consistently feed our mind with the knowledge it is required to understand the sheet music. Day in and day out, reading the same song will become the second nature of your mind, and when it will enter your subconscious mind, it will unlock musical notes hidden in its depository. It is important to remember all the music that exists in the universe. You have the capacity to learn it. The only point is how you follow the path to unlock your subconscious mind and make it one with the universal mind. Then comes the important point of changing your attitude towards your goals. Now, when thinking about the correct way to play the song has become your mental habit, it is important to actualize why the song needs to be played. And here, the important thing to work on is your attitude. Instead of saying, "I need to play this song," you need to say, "This song needs to be played," because the song remains unheard of in the universe unless someone is playing it. No matter what your goal is, first learning the path to achieve them, then repeating that vision over and over in your mind, and then changing your attitude towards your goal will get you closer to it. It is not that you need the money that is true, but the money needs you. It is equally true and a more helpful attitude. This kind of attitude doesn't suppress the pessimistic side of your mind. It just elevates the optimistic side above it. But what is the use of the pessimistic side of mind? The pessimist in you tells you that you won't succeed, probably because it is indicating you of your shortcomings and certain delusions you might have about yourself. You might have the potential to be a great musician or a successful entrepreneur, but you might not be at the level you think you are. To successfully use the pessimistic side of your mind, one must adopt the practice of purification of mind. It entails getting rid of all the ideas about yourself and the world that are not true. It is a reality check that we need from time to time, so that we keep on inserting the required ideas of visualization in our minds and know the difference between how we see ourselves from how we actually are. A true balance of these two will help you navigate towards your goals with a much stronger mind than when you started pursuing your ambition. It is the process of you becoming one with your goal, so much so that the world ambition disappears and your dream is part of your reality. So go back to the beginning. Using 10% of your brain doesn't mean that the rest of the 90% is sitting idle. It means, as James said, most of us do not meet our mental potential. And the tools required to meet your mental potential and achieve mental strength are the same as achieving physical strength. Improve your mind's diet. Add the thoughts of your goals so much so that it becomes part of who you are. Exercise regularly, which means practice and work towards your goal. Journal your daily routine and find out where you feed your mind a bad diet that day. Optimize the usage of your two gifts, the speech and the mind. Unlock the depository of your subconscious mind and make your thoughts one with the universal mind. And always remember, you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in the drop.